Hello team, welcome back. And today we will see a demo or lab on the Ansible playbook. So very first we will switch to the Ansible engine. So here we are on Ansible engine. We will clear out the console, switch to Ansible, go to Ansible and open the virtual environment. So we are on the virtual environment. Over here we have few files. You can see in the last lecture we have created this demo AWS EC2 YAML. So let's execute few commands. Ansible all -i, which is for the dynamic inventory, demo AWS EC2 YAML -m ping. Hit enter. It is saying provided host list is empty. It means there is no server which is running on my AWS. Let's go to the AWS and start your servers. So we are on AWS. We will open the EC2 and we will start our nodes. So we have the two nodes, node 1 and node 3, and we are starting the nodes. Let's wait until we will get the public IP of my nodes. So both of my nodes are in the running state. We will switch to the Ansible engine and execute the command again. And we are getting some error related to the user. So we need to modify the command. Clear out the console, modify the command and provide the user -u ec2/user -user. Hit enter again. See, we are able to ping my nodes. Now suppose we want to do the same thing with the help of the playbooks. How we can do that? So let's do one thing. Let's create some directory over here. I will create a directory mkdir, or let's call this directory with the name of your section, which is playbook underscore intro. Let's go to this directory cd playbook intro, and over here we will create some playbook. So we have seen some sample playbook in the earlier lecture. Let's follow that format. So team, over here we are on the Linux box, and sometimes it is challenging to work on the Linux editor. So what I will do, I will create the playbook on my Mac operating system using the Visual Studio Code and then paste that playbook over here. Correct. So let me open my Visual Studio Code. If you are using Mac operating system, Windows operating system, you can also install the Visual Studio Code, or you can use any your favorite editor. I'm using the Visual Studio Code over here. So in the Visual Studio Code, I will create a file and I name it intro underscore playbook dot YAML, right? Because playbook is a YAML file. In this file, we will define the basic syntax of your playbook, correct? So we will define the basic syntax. First, you need to define the name, and we are defining the name of this playbook, which is introduction Ansible playbook. Then what next you need to define? You need to define the hosts. In the host, right now we are taking all. Then what you need to define? You need to define the become, right? Although this is not necessary for the ping, but let's try this in practice and we will default keep it yes. And this should be in the single quotes. After this, what I need to define? Let's suppose we are directly going to define the task. So we will define the task, and what we want to define in the task, first we need to define the name. So you can define the name of your task, checking connection by a ping. And then what you need to define? You need to define the module. What is the module we want to use? We want to use the ping module. So this is a basic simple playbook for the ping module in Ansible. Let's copy this, go to your Ansible engine, and in our Ansible engine we will create a file vi intro underscore playbook dot yml. Go to the insert mode and paste your playbook. Now save this. Now if you will check, we have the playbook intro underscore playbook dot yml. How we can execute that playbook? So we can execute the playbook by a command ansible hyphen playbook, define an inventory. Right now we need to define the complete path of your inventory. So the complete path of my inventory is root ansible demo AWS EC2. Define the user hyphen u EC2 hyphen user, and now you can define your playbook name. What is the playbook name? Intro playbook dot YAML. hit enter key. Let's wait. So we are getting some error. That is the another thing which I will tell you in future, that how you can check the error before executing your playbook. But right now the error is it is not accepting these double quote in the name. So we will modify my file, which is intro playbook YAML, and I will remove these double quotes. Clear out your console and we will execute the command again. So you can see the command is executing. Let's wait for a few seconds and see the playbook is executing and we are getting this kind of output. Now let's try to understand the output in brief. So very first, if you are defining the name of your playbook, it will print output like play, then it will print the name of your playbook. Over here, my playbook name is Introduction Ansible Playbooks. Then it is executing a task, gathering facts. We have not defined that particular task. We have not defined this task in my playbook. You can check that we have only one task, checking connection by ping. So how this task is executing? So whenever we are learning about the fact, if you remember, I told you that whenever the playbook execute, very first it will execute the facts by default. So that is the task which playbook is executing. Whenever you are executing the playbook, by default the fact will execute. If you want to make it off, there is an option. I will tell you that how you can make the facts off. So over here you can see the fact is executing for this node and for this node, right? Then our custom task is executed, connection, checking connection by a ping. And on which particular node that executed? On these two nodes, because right now only two nodes are running in my AWS. And then over here you are getting the summary of your playbook. It is saying play recap. This is the node, this is the node. OK status 2. I will tell you why we are getting 2. Change status 0, unreachable 0, failed 0, skip 0, rescue 0 and ignore 0. Over here you will get the number of tasks which are executing as a part of your playbook. In my playbook, two tasks are executing. One is my custom task and another one is a gathering fact, which is a default task of Ansible. Although that is not recommended to keep the gather fact off, but if you want to make it off, you can do it. How we can do it? So we can do it by some editing in my playbook. I will edit the playbook vi intro playbook.yml. Go to the insert mode and add the global label before the task, gather underscore facts, and define it false. Correct. Save your playbook, execute the command again. So this is executing the intro underscore playbook.yml again, and let's wait for the output. See over here we are getting the output, and very first task it is executing, checking connection by a ping. And over here you can see we are only getting OK1 because only one task executed, right? By default earlier gather fact was also executed. Let me scroll down the screen. That is missing this time. In the current execution, gather fact is not executed. This is not a recommended practice to keep the gather facts off, because whenever you will work with the complex scenarios with the complex playbooks, you need the gather fact on by default. So keep this in practice and keep the gather fact on by default. This is not a good practice to make the gather fact false. So that I'm removing that particular thing from my playbook. So this is the basic syntax of the playbook, and this is the way how you can execute the playbook. Now, suppose you want to execute the multiple task by your playbook. How you can do that? So we will go to the Visual Studio Code again, and over here we have one more file, install underscore https.yml. This is the file which I created for you. So here you can see we have the simple syntax, the name of your playbook, installing web server, host is all, become yes, defining the user, because this time we are going to install something, so we need to switch to the root user. So that we are defining the become user root. We are defining the task, and over here you can see we are executing the two tasks. This is the first task and this is the second task. In the first task the name is Apache, ensure Apache is in the latest version, and what we are doing, we are using the yum module of Ansible. Name is this, state is this. So what we are doing, we are basically installing the httpd module, and in the second task what we are doing, we are starting this particular module. So let's do one thing, let's copy this Go to your Ansible engine and create one more file, vi install underscore web server dot yml. Correct. Go to the insert mode and paste your content over here. I will save this. Now what we will do, we will again execute the earlier command and just replace the file name. Right now I want to execute install web server YAML. Hit enter. Let's see what we will get. So we have the two Amazon server running. Very first it will check for the facts and then it will go for the another two task. So playbook is starting, it is gathering the facts, fact is done. Now it is ensuring that the Apache is on latest version. It means it is basically installing the Apache. And see, the playbook is completed with zero failure and zero unreachable. But there is a difference in the earlier output and the current output. What is the difference? The difference is the color code is different and the message is also different. Earlier we was getting the change 0, but this time we are getting the change 2. Why we are getting change 2 this time? Because earlier we was just executing the ping, which is not changing anything on the server. Correct. This time we are not executing the ping. We are actually installing something on the server and then we are starting something on that server. If you want to verify the HTTPD service status on your Amazon node, you can switch to the Amazon. On the Amazon, you can connect with any of the node. Suppose I'm connecting with this node. Switch to the root user as sudo su hyphen and type systemctl status http d and service should be in the running state. And see, the service is in the running state and it is also saying that service started 1 minute 25 second ago. It means this is the process which is installed the httpd on your server and started it, so that we are getting the change to okay task 3 because 3 tasks executed. First is the gathering fact, another one is the installing the httpd, and another one is the ensuring Apache is running. Let's do one thing, clear out your console and again execute the same playbook. As I told you that Ansible process is a idempotent. So let's execute this and verify if the process is idempotent. So you can see it is gathering the facts, ensuring the Apache status, and this time it is not changing anything. See, change 0. Also not starting the Apache. See, this is okay. This is not changed. This proves that Ansible is a idempotent. It means if the process is already there, if the thing is already there, then Ansible is not changing the status of that thing until unless the change is not there. Let's do one thing. We just verified the HTTPD status on one of my server. Let's go to that server and stop your HTTPD over here. Systemctl stop HTTPD. Right, we have stopped it. Let's check the status again. Status is inactive. Let's go to your Ansible again. Clear out the console. Execute the command again. So we are executing the playbook again. And let's see the status of my playbook. You can check. The installation on both of the server is okay. It means no change. Correct, because we have not uninstalled the HTTPD. But the running state of the HTTPD is okay on one server because that was running earlier, and change on one server. Why the change? Because we have manually stopped that HTTPD service, so that you are getting this kind of output. So you can imagine that how helpful the Ansible is. Ansible playbooks are very reliable and they are idempotent in the nature. It only do whatever you want to do by a playbook. It will not do the extra thing. It will not do the rework. So using this way, you can see how the Ansible playbooks work on your configuration and how you can manage your configuration, how you can update your configuration using the Ansible on Ansible clients or on your managed nodes. So team, I hope you are getting the concept of the Ansible playbook. They are pretty much helpful as compared to the Ansible ad hoc commands. because right here we are not executing the multiple task multiple times. We are executing the multiple task in a one go. So that is helpful and more reliable as compared to the ad hoc commands. So that's all for the day. Thank you, team. Thanks for your time.